So I keep hearing your mind is playing tricks on you. And there's something about how right now the energy is like supercharged. So, by the way, welcome to the year of the horse. It is the first day that I'm recording this message. And the energy feels like super intense. It's supercharged. It's super kind of excited in some ways, but then it also feels like there's definitely like this fear that's coming up that's being asked to be released, is what's coming through. And so there's definitely your mind playing tricks on you in regards to like bringing up certain old patterns of thought, old ways of thinking to kind of see what you're going to do with it. Like, are you going to feed that? Are you going to continue to move forward into that? Are you going to attend to that and put your energy into that? Or are you actually going to shift that and put that into something more helpful, right? Like, are you going to self sabotage, right? This is a powerful time right now where it feels like there's just so much energy that is meant to kind of push you forward. And this energy will completely push you like into this whole new race, into this whole new world if you use it the right way. So it feels like if you're not in balance, the energy will go into this place of like kind of a fear-based thought pattern or a worry thought pattern, like, and you're being asked to like let go of the illusion, release the illusions, like try not to feed those illusions. Acknowledge that they exist and acknowledge that they're coming up for you, but recognize that they don't hold truth, right? And it's funny because at the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of cups. So what you're moving towards is this ultimate fulfillment, but it does feel like you've never really reached this level of ultimate fulfillment within your life. And so because you've never really actually had this in your life in this way, it feels like there's definitely fear coming up to be released so you can fully step into this and fully embody it and fully feel it. Can you tell us more about this energy? Ooh, okay. So things are coming up right now because, yeah, okay. So things are coming up right now because they need to be released. Okay. There are, and I'm hearing, I released a lot, Crystal. Like, what else do I need to, like, are you serious? Like, we just went through the year of the snake. I hear you. I totally hear you. And yes, it was a lot of releasing for sure. And it feels like these are little pieces that have still been stuck in some way or still been stagnant in some way that you're being asked to release. And this feels like more so thought patterns that you're being asked to release. So they're fear patterns, they're limited beliefs, they're patterns of you being stuck, right? Patterns that you're bound up or stuck in your situation and you have no way out or you have no choice out, right? Like that is what is coming up right now to be released. And it feels like this is also coming up more specifically with relationships. Um, so what's coming through right now is that during this eclipse season and just this time of year, it feels like there's a lot of um, kind of reflection happening around like relationships that are giving to you or relationships that are not giving to you. Like asking yourself, like, are my relationships really balanced or is this actually serving me to move me forward, right? Like, and I think this is part of like the feeling restricted in some ways, like feeling stuck maybe in certain relation dynamics or relation patterns that you, and this could be with yourself, right, with the thought patterns like I said, but this also feels like this is happening like in actual relationship too. So it feels like you're starting to ask yourself, like, are these people actually supporting my vision? Are these people actually, who I want to surround myself with? Do I actually like what I'm receiving from these people? Like, it feels like there's kind of this whole um there's this whole like reflection happening in this space for you. And I think for some people it's definitely romantic partnerships, but this also feels like friends and family. um but there's kind of like this questioning happening right now around this. Um, and really trying to figure out like what you want to take with you and what you don't, and what's actually serving you and what's actually not. And at the bottom of the deck, there's the Seven of Wands. And so this is saying to me that you're really being asked right now to stand strong and stand confidently and really like lay your boundaries down and be honest with yourself about what's serving you and what's not when it comes to relationships. So like standing up for yourself is really what's coming through. Like it feels like there is definitely maybe a couple of different situations where you have more so kept silent rather than standing up for yourself or communicating in hopes that they would just resolve or go away, and they haven't. I'm hearing that very clearly. And they're not going to. So you are being asked to kind of use your voice, and you're being asked to stand up for yourself in a respectful and kind way, but nonetheless to do that. And it feels like that's something that's not exactly safe for you or has not been safe for you in the past. And so there's definitely some resistance to that I'm feeling around the idea that when you have spoken up in the past, like people would get really angry or they would lash out towards you, right? And I think that you kind of connected that to you made that happen or that was your fault, which really it was their inability to regulate that caused them to respond that way, right? So not your fault. And I think there's a part of you that's starting to have to like pull out that belief in some ways and like look at that differently. Like you're being asked to reflect on that belief in a different way and like discharge it, is what I just heard. So it does feel like there's definitely, ooh, one flipped out in here. Conflict. Okay, so this is also causing conflict for you. I do think though, since the card was hiding in the deck, that this is causing conflict for you, but I think that you're kind of like ignoring it, like, or pretending it doesn't, or keeping busy so it doesn't, or like hiding from it in some way. Um, that feels like very significant with this energy. Like, it just feels like you have been ignoring this for a period of time in hopes that it would get better, or holding on to the potential of what could be rather than being honest with yourself about what this actually is. And it does feel like it's starting to kind of get heavier, and it's starting to feel more dire that you have to react or respond or do something. Like it feels like you're ready to blow, is what I just heard. Um, it does. It feels like there's just like this energy around it that's like you, if you don't speak up soon, if you don't stand up for yourself soon, like I have a feeling that you're going to respond in a way that you're not going to be exactly proud of. And you're kind of going to get pushed into a wall in regards to that. And so I think this is about like you attending to things before you like blow, right? Um and this is part of the lesson that it feels like you're learning right now, is like how do you attend to things like before they become stressful or before they become overwhelming, because it feels like this is a pattern for you that you get caught in, where you struggle to take care of things before they get to the point of like no return in some ways, and then after you kind of lose your shit, you then feel bad and you feel like guilty, and then you also like don't like who you become in that state. So I think this is about recognizing how you're participating in the decision to kind of stay in that cycle by not speaking up earlier and not standing up for yourself. You're being asked to like see the security and the grounding that you have within yourself and like recognize that for yourself, to see like how powerful you are, to see how grounded you are, to see how abundant you actually are, right? And so if this person doesn't see that, then it has nothing to do with you, and it doesn't say anything about you either. And I think that that's like the piece that's coming through, is like the way that you've made meaning of these things is that there's something wrong with me, or I did something wrong or bad, right? There's kind of like this pointing back to self problem, like I'm the problem, it's me, is what is coming through that song. um and you're not the problem, but what you're trying to do is align to certain things that just are not aligned to you. And the more you try to force yourself to align to certain things that are not aligned to you, the more you are going to have to shrink yourself to align to these things. And it does feel like you're just at this point of shrinking yourself so much that you're like done. Like you're like sick of being in this space. You're sick of having to kind of walk on eggshells, is what's coming through. um and not be able to feel confident and safe and comfortable in this dynamic or these dynamics, whatever they are. It does feel like there's more than one, but there's one very prevalent one that kind of is showing up to kind of shed light on the other ones, if that makes sense. And when I said that, if this is for you, then there were certain people that came into your mind as soon as I said that. So I want to get a little bit of advice on what it is that you should do with this. Let me see. I'm hearing go within. So I'm hearing like really be within yourself, reflect with yourself, like sit with yourself a little bit, try to understand like what you truly want from this situation and if this thing can provide it for you. What turned over? What's coming through is that, yeah. So there are certain things run their course, and they run their course because they're closing the door to something to let something else in. And this feels very significant. Like this feels like this door and cycle needs to close for you to let in a new way of being, a new way of functioning, like a new pattern in some ways. And you've been putting the pieces together to see this, but you haven't completely, I think, like accepted it. Like there's a part of you that's like right before you're about to actually make the move or action. And so, yeah, it feels like you're being asked to just see your self-worth. You're being asked to see what you're worth and like more so prioritize your own energy. And it feels like this has kind of been leaking your energy in a way that has not been helpful. It's been keeping you from focusing, it's been keeping you really exhausted. And you're being you're being guided to kind of let this go so you can start to heal from this and fully start to focus more on yourself and see yourself more clearly. So this is part of like the I would call it like the cups journey of being able to embody real self-worth and ground into that. And so and that's kind of coming back to, right, like seeing yourself as abundant, seeing yourself as worthy, understanding that the people that don't see that have nothing to do with you. It has to do with their own inability to see it within themselves, right? So it does feel like you are being guided to release this so that something else can come in because there is something new that's going to come in that's going to be better than this. Can you give me a card about what this new thing is? I am curious. Let's see what came up. Yeah, so it's going to be like a new beginning in some ways. So we have the Page of Pentacles. So this is kind of like a new beginning for you, like so that you can put your energy back into yourself so you can move forward. And so this is coming after you make a choice, kind of like what I was saying. So you have to make a choice to either stay in the cycle or you make a choice to walk away from it. The choice is yours at the end of the day. But after you make a choice, that is when this new um, thing is going to come in for you. Can you tell us anything else about this new thing that's coming in once we close out this cycle? They're not really telling me very much about it. They're just telling me that the ending needs to happen. And with the ending will come some healing that needs to occur as well. And with that healing, you'll be able to see certain things that you couldn't see before that were actually like meant for you and actually were going to bring you a lot of fulfillment and joy. Because remember, I started with the 10 of cups. So once you release this, there is going to be some grief, some healing that needs to happen. And then once you are kind of moved through that, that's when this new thing is going to come into your awareness that is feels like has been there, but you just didn't recognize kind of the value in it because you weren't able to with all of your energy leaking somewhere else is kind of what's coming through. So if this message resonated with you, um, leave me 10 10 in the comments because we did get 10 of swords, 10 of cups 10 of swords came out at the end. So I'm kind of being asked to end here. So I want you to think about though, are you coming to tarot readings a lot for clarity? And I want you to ask yourself, like, do you actually need clarity or are you struggling to trust yourself? Because tarot readings are meant to illuminate patterns, and self trust is what actually brings change. So, if you're ready to stop outsourcing your inner authority and you're ready to finally build that inside of yourself, then my private coaching is meant for you. Together, we will eliminate self doubt and will eliminate self sabotaging patterns so that you can move with unshakable confidence in your life. So if that resonates with you, you can go ahead and take a look at my application below and put an application in, or you can go to crystalclearmystic.com/contact. And just know that you deserve to trust yourself and walk with unshakable confidence. I love you so much.